Story number 1. The Apple Tree and the Farmer. The apple tree and the farmer. Once upon a time, there lived a farmer in a village, beside a forest. He had a big garden that had an old apple tree and other plants, trees and beautiful flowers. When the farmer was a little boy, he spent much of his time playing with the apple tree. Those days, the apple tree had given the choicest of apples to him. However, as time passed, the apple tree became old and stopped bearing fruits. Now that the farmer was not getting any apples from the tree, he decided that the tree was useless. Therefore, he decided to cut the tree and use its wood to make some new furniture. He felt that since the tree was old and huge, he did not have to cure it, and it would make great furniture. He forgot that as a boy, he had spent his entire childhood climbing the tree and eating its apples. Now the apple tree was home to several little animals in the neighborhood. This included squirrels, sparrows, and a huge variety of birds and insects. When the farmer took his axe and began chopping the tree, all the little animals came rushing down. They all began to plead with the farmer. They gathered round the farmer and said, "Please don't cut the tree. We used to play with you when you were small, under this very tree. This is our home and we have no other place to go." The farmer was adamant. He raised his axe and the commotion grew. "Please don't chop and destroy my home and kids," cried the squirrel. "Please don't chop and destroy my nest," cried the little birds. "Please don't cut the apple tree," cried the grasshopper. The farmer, however, forgot his childhood and his animal friends. He began to chop the tree harder. All the little animals became desperate, and wanted to protect the apple tree at any cost. The little animals said, "We will sing for you when you are toiling away in the fields. We will look after your little boy. He will not cry, but instead will be entertained and happy. You will like our songs and will not feel tired." However, their cries for help fell on deaf ears. Despite all their requests, the farmer continued to chop down the tree. All of a sudden, he noticed something shiny. On inspecting it, he realized that it was a beehive, full of honey. He took a little and put it in his mouth. The taste of the honey woke up the little boy in him. Suddenly, the memories of his childhood came rushing back. The honey tasted so good that he wanted more. It brought a sense of happiness to him. He smiled and exclaimed, "This tastes amazing." Realizing the change in the farmer's attitude, the little animals spoke in unison. The bee said, "I will always provide you with sweet honey." The squirrel said, "I will share any amount of nuts that you want." The birds cried, "We will sing as many songs as you want." Finally, the farmer realized his folly, and put down his axe. He understood that the tree was home to many lovely animals that provided him with so many things. He wanted his little boy to have the childhood that he had. The farmer realized that the apple tree was not that fruitless. The little boy in him saved the apple tree. He threw away the axe and said to the little creatures, "I promised that I would never cut this tree. I have realized my mistake and you all can now live in peace and harmony." The little creatures thanked the bee profusely. If the farmer had not found the beehive, they would have been homeless by now. They continued living happily in the old apple tree. Moral: each and every living thing in nature is of some use. We should not destroy any living thing. Story number 2. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Once there was a shepherd boy, who had to look after a flock of sheep. One day, he felt bored and decided to play a trick on the villagers. He shouted, "Help! Wolf! Wolf!" The villagers heard his cries and rushed out of the village to help the shepherd boy. When they reached him, they asked, "Where is the wolf?" The shepherd boy laughed loudly, "Ha, ha, ha. I fooled you all. I was only playing a trick on you." A few days later, the shepherd boy played the trick again. He cried, "Help! Help! Wolf! Wolf!" Again, the villagers rushed up the hill to help him, and again they found that the boy had tricked them. They were very angry with him for being so naughty. Then, sometime later, a wolf really went into the field. The wolf attacked one sheep, and then another and another. The shepherd boy ran towards the village shouting, "Help! Help! Wolf! Help! Somebody!" The villagers heard his cries, but they laughed because they thought it was just another trick. The boy ran to the nearest villager and said, "A wolf is attacking the sheep. I lied before, but this time it is true." Finally, the villagers went to look. It was true. They could see the wolf running away and many dead sheep lying on the grass. We may not believe someone who often tells lies, even when he tells the truth. Story number 3. The Canary and the Prophecy. There was another boy, a little older. He was very fond of birds and felt willing to do anything he was able to perform, to earn money enough to buy himself a canary in a cage. Very soon he managed to find employment, sometimes one thing and sometimes another, always so prompt, faithful and cheerful that he soon found persons inquiring after him, instead of having to hunt work. After what seemed a very long time, for birds used to be very dear in those days, my little friend had a sum sufficient, and started out, as happy as could be, to make his purchase. The bird was selected, the price was $5. And the cage was $1.50. He then bought 10 cents worth of seed to feed it, intending to soon purchase more. The merchant began laughing and ridiculing him about the small package of feed. The poor boy left the store with his treasure, but far from being as happy as when he entered it, and going home with burning cheeks and heavy heart, he told his gentle mother. The father arrived and was informed and immediately started downtown. When he entered the store, the merchant knew something was coming, and soon found out what it was. Where was your manhood when you could ridicule a little child that had worked for weeks and weeks to pay you a high price for a bird and cage? I promise you here that that boy will rise and have name and wealth when you are down and poor. You may watch him and I will watch you." The man of avarice shrank before the eye and voice of the man who uttered those significant words. Within 10 years the merchant had lost his fine store, his comfortable home property, and was scarcely earning a living, besides being an object of sympathy, from his altered health and dejected appearance. 2 years later, and while he still lived, the boy had realized the fulfillment of that portion of his father's prophecy which related to him, by an office of trust and emolument, which his proven integrity and ability had qualified him for, being conferred upon him.